Chapter 1, The Day the Sky Broke. The world ended on a Tuesday. It didn't begin with a bang, but with a hum. A low, almost subliminal thrum that vibrated through the concrete bones of the city, a sound so deep you felt it in your teeth. For Kenji Tanaka, it was just another day to be endured. He sat at the back of his physics class, hood up, head down, trying to make himself as small as possible. The drone of Mr. Henderson's lecture on temporal mechanics was the perfect cover noise, a monotonous wave that washed over the snickers and whispers that always seemed to follow him. Loser? Freak? The words were little paper cuts, too small to bleed but stinging all the same. He focused instead on the screen of his tablet, not on the complex equations of the Kronos Gateway project displayed for the class, but on a private message window. "Did you remember my juice?" A message from his sister Yuna read. A small, involuntary smile touched Kenji's lips. The extra sugary kind that Mom hates. "Of course, it's in the fridge. You're the best, Kenji." He was her best. It was the only title that mattered. The bells shrieked, a welcome punctuation mark on his daily sentence. As students flooded out, a heavy shove from behind sent Kenji stumbling into a desk. "Watch where you're going, Tanaka, Mark," the school's reigning Neanderthal sneered, his two lackeys flanking him like overgrown gargoyles. Kenji didn't look up. He just clutched his bag strap, his knuckles turning white. "Sorry," he mumbled to the floor. The laughter followed him out of the classroom, down the hall, and out into the hazy afternoon air. It was a familiar sound, the soundtrack to his life. The hum was louder outside. It was a city-wide phenomenon, a topic of conversation on every street corner. People glanced at the sky, a strange, shimmering quality now visible in the upper atmosphere like heat haze on a winter day. News helicopters buzzed overhead, their familiar chop-chop-chop sound seeming small and insignificant against the pervasive, resonant hum. The world was holding its breath. Kenji's apartment was a small, cramped sanctuary on the 7th floor of a worn-down building. The moment he stepped inside, the weight on his shoulders eased. "I'm home," he called out. A small figure emerged from a bedroom, her steps slow and deliberate. Yuna was 10, with big, bright eyes that held a universe of warmth, a stark contrast to her frail body and the slight tremor in her hands. "Did you get it?" she asked, her voice soft. He grinned, pulling a carton of strawberry juice from his bag. "The contraband has been secured," he whispered conspiratorially. Her giggle was the most beautiful sound in the world. It was the sound he was fighting for, the sound that made the sneers and shoves fade into nothing. He helped her settle onto the couch, her favorite blanket draped over her legs. The news was on, the anchor's face a mask of professional excitement. "We are just moments away from history," the woman said, her voice crisp. "The Kronos Gateway is active, and the Odyssey probe is officially transmitting data from 65 million years in the past. The feed it's stabilizing now." On the screen, a pixelated, jittery image began to resolve. It was a world of impossible green, towering ferns, trees with leaves like giant plates, and a sky that was a deeper, purer blue than any Kenji had ever seen. It was beautiful, it was terrifying. The hum from outside intensified, rattling the windows in their frames. Yuna clutched his arm, her small hand trembling. "It's loud," she whispered, her eyes wide. "It's okay," Kenji soothed, his own heart starting to hammer against his ribs. "It's just the gateway. It's all the way out in the Nevada desert. We're safe." The lie tasted like ash in his mouth. Then the image on the screen fractured. It split into 1,000 pieces, glitching wildly. The anchor's calm facade broke. "We're getting reports of a massive energy surge. Something is wrong. The signal is... oh my God." The broadcast cut to static. Simultaneously, every light in the apartment flickered and died. The television went black. The hum outside crescendoed into a deafening, soul-shaking roar, a sound that tore at the very fabric of reality. Kenji threw himself over Yuna, shielding her small body with his own, as the building groaned and shuddered around them. A sound like 1,000 sonic booms merged into one, and the windows of their apartment didn't just break, they atomized, exploding inward in a shower of fine, glittering dust. Outside, the sky cracked. It was the only way to describe it. A jagged, incandescent seam of white light ripped across the heavens, and the familiar blue was peeled back like old paint. Through the tear, another sky was visible, the ancient, pure blue from the television screen. The two realities bled into one another, a nauseating swirl of color and pressure. The roaring stopped, replaced by an even more terrifying silence. Then came the new sounds. A screech from far away, high and piercing, a sound that no bird on earth had ever made. The ground shook with a rhythmic, thunderous impact, thump, 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 the footsteps of something impossibly heavy. A shadow fell over their shattered window, vast and absolute. Kenji, trembling, dared to look up. He peered over the ruined window frame, his eyes tracing the source of the shadow. It was the building across the street. Or rather, what was left of it. The top 5 floors had been sheared away, and standing amidst the rubble, its long serpentine neck craning down towards the street, was a creature of impossible scale, a brachiosaurus. Its skin was a tapestry of mottled browns and greens. Its head, small for its body, was the size of a car. It let out a low, resonant call, a sound that was not a roar of aggression, but one of confusion and fear. Panic erupted in the street below. Screams replaced the silence. Car alarms, miraculously still functional, blared a chaotic symphony. The world Kenji knew was gone. It had been erased in the space of a heartbeat. In its place was a nightmare, a primal memory, brought to horrifying life. He looked down at Yuna, who was staring past him, her eyes fixed on the impossible creature, not with terror, but with a strange, silent awe. Her hand was still clutching his arm, a tiny, warm anchor in the maelstrom. Something inside him shifted. The fear was still there, a cold, coiling serpent in his gut, but something else rose to meet it. A fierce, white-hot instinct that burned away the whispers and the shoves and the years of feeling small. It was a single, primal command that echoed louder than the screams outside, louder than the monster's call. Protect her. As that thought solidified, a strange warmth spread through his chest. He felt a faint, almost imperceptible ping in the back of his mind. A box of translucent blue text flickered into his vision for a nanosecond, too fast to read but undeniably there. She-primal resonance detected. System awakening. He blinked, and it was gone. The chaos outside was all that remained, but for Kenji, cowering on the floor of his ruined apartment, the world hadn't just ended. It had begun.